Two words, different meanings, Indio and Filipino. The Spanish colonial period in the Philippines saw the use of these two words that, at first, seemed similar, but held vastly different meanings. To understand the nuances of this period, we must first understand these words.
Indio was a term used by the Spanish to refer to the native inhabitants of the Philippines. It was a blanket term, encompassing the diverse array of ethnicities and cultures present in the archipelago.
The Spaniards saw the Indios as their subjects, a people to be ruled and Christianized.
Filipino, on the other hand, carried a different weight during the early colonial period. It was initially used to denote Spaniards born in the Philippines, distinguishing them from those born in Spain.
These Filipinos enjoyed a higher social standing than the Indios, but were still considered below Spaniards born in Spain. The distinction between Indio and Filipino highlights the social hierarchy that defined Spanish colonial rule. It speaks volumes about the power dynamics and the struggle for identity that characterized this period. Spanish colonialism in the Philippines wasn't just about political control. It was about imposing a social order. This order manifested in a rigid caste system, a social ladder where your position determined your rights and opportunities.
At the very top were the Peninsulares, Spaniards born in Spain. They held the most power, occupying the highest positions in government and the church.
Below them were the Insulares, Spaniards born in the Philippines. While considered higher than Indios, they often faced discrimination from the Peninsulares.
Below the Spaniards were the Mestizos, people of mixed Spanish and Indio ancestry. Their position was fluid, with their social standing often depending on their economic status and the lightness of their skin.
At the bottom rung of this societal ladder were the Indios. They formed the majority of the population but had the least power. This system, where your birth determined your worth, bred resentment and fueled the flames of nationalism. The life of an Indio under Spanish rule was one of hardship and exploitation. Burdened by unjust laws and policies, they faced an uphill battle for basic dignity and survival.
One of the most oppressive systems was the tribute, a tax imposed on every Indio family. This tax, often paid in kind or through labor, siphoned resources from the Indio community, enriching the Spanish colonizers and fueling the colonial machine.
Adding to their woes was the system of forced labor, known as Polo y Servicios. Indio men were required to render service to the colonial government, working on infrastructure projects, building churches, and serving in the military.
This unpaid labor tore men away from their families and farms, disrupting their lives and livelihoods.
The tribute and forced labor systems were not just economic policies, they were tools of control. They kept the Indios economically dependent and socially immobile, reinforcing the power imbalance inherent in the colonial system. The Spanish colonial system was riddled with its own internal tensions, particularly between the Peninsulares and Insulares. Though both groups were Spanish, the circumstances of their birth created a gulf between them.
Peninsulares, proud of their pure Spanish lineage and birth in the motherland, looked down upon the Insulares. They saw them as less sophisticated, tainted by their upbringing in the colonies.
This prejudice manifested in the distribution of power, with Peninsulares monopolizing the most prestigious and influential positions in government and the church.
The Insulares, though enjoying certain privileges denied to the Indios, chafed under the dominance of the Peninsulares. They resented being treated as second-class citizens in their own land.
This resentment, fueled by the growing awareness of their shared identity and experiences, would eventually contribute to the rise of Filipino nationalism. Nationalism, the powerful idea of a shared identity and a desire for self-rule, didn't emerge overnight in the Philippines. It was a slow burn, fueled by centuries of oppression and the gradual awakening of a collective consciousness among the colonized.
The rigid social hierarchy imposed by the Spanish, the exploitation of the Indios, and the discrimination faced by the Insulares all contributed to a growing sense of discontent.
Early signs of resistance, from small acts of defiance to localized uprisings, demonstrated the simmering anger against Spanish rule. These acts, though often scattered and quickly quelled, were crucial in planting the seeds of national identity. The seeds of Filipino nationalism found fertile ground in the minds of a new generation of educated Filipinos known as the Ilustrados. These were primarily young men from wealthy Indio or mestizo families, who had the opportunity to study abroad, often in Europe.
Exposed to liberal ideas and Enlightenment philosophies, the Ilustrados began to question the legitimacy of Spanish rule. They saw the stark contrast between the freedoms enjoyed in Europe and the oppression back home.
Through their writings, speeches, and organizations, the Ilustrados played a crucial role in awakening the Filipino consciousness. They used their education to expose the injustices of the colonial system and to articulate a vision for a free and independent Philippines.
They became the voice of the voiceless, expressing the aspirations of a people yearning for liberty.
As Filipino nationalism gained momentum, the word Filipino itself underwent a transformation. It was no longer a term used exclusively for Spaniards born in the Philippines. It became a badge of honor, a symbol of unity and shared identity for all those born in the archipelago.
The Ilustrados, in their writings and speeches, began to reclaim the term Filipino to encompass all the people of the Philippines, regardless of their ethnicity or social standing.
This shift in language was not merely symbolic, it reflected a profound change in consciousness. By embracing the term Filipino, the Ilustrados were forging a new national identity, one that transcended the divisions imposed by the Spanish colonial system.
They were declaring that they were one people, united by their shared history and their common aspirations for freedom.
From subjection to solidarity, the power of shared identity. The shift in the meaning of Filipino from a marker of colonial hierarchy to a symbol of national unity was a turning point in the Philippine Revolution. It demonstrated the power of shared identity to overcome divisions and mobilize people towards a common goal. This newfound sense of solidarity was crucial in uniting Filipinos from different social classes and ethnic backgrounds against Spanish rule. The term Filipino became a rallying cry, a symbol of resistance against oppression and a beacon of hope for a better future.
The Spanish had inadvertently sown the seeds of their own demise by creating a system that fostered resentment and a longing for change. We, the Filipinos, united under a common identity, were determined to break free from the shackles of colonialism and claim our rightful place as a free and independent nation.
The birth of a nation uniting under Filipino. The Philippine Revolution of 1896 marked the culmination of centuries of struggle against Spanish colonialism. It was a testament to the power of nationalism and the unwavering spirit of the Filipino people.
The revolution was fought not by a single ethnic group or social class, but by Filipinos from all walks of life. Indios, mestizos, and even some insulares, united under the banner of Filipino, took up arms against the colonizers.
The revolution ultimately led to the proclamation of Philippine independence in 1898. Though short-lived, as the Philippines soon fell under American rule, this period of independence was a testament to the power of national consciousness.
The Filipinos had proven that they were capable of self-governance and that they were no longer willing to be subjugated by any foreign power. The legacy of words, identity, and nationhood. The story of Indio and Filipino is a powerful reminder of how language can be used both as a tool of oppression and as a weapon of liberation. It highlights the enduring legacy of colonialism, not just in the Philippines but across the globe. The struggle to define national identity, to overcome the divisions sown by colonialism, is an ongoing process. The echoes of the past continue to shape the present. However, the Philippine experience offers a beacon of hope. It demonstrates that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit, fueled by a yearning for freedom and a shared identity, can triumph. Echoes of the past social stratification today. While the Philippines is now an independent nation, the legacy of Spanish colonialism continues to cast a long shadow. The social stratification that defined the colonial era, though less rigid, can still be observed in contemporary Philippine society. Economic disparities, often rooted in the unequal distribution of land and resources during the colonial period, persist. Discrimination based on ethnicity and skin color, remnants of the colonial caste system, continue to plague the nation. The struggle for true equality and social justice in the Philippines is ongoing. It is a reminder that the fight for freedom is not won overnight. It is a continuous process of dismantling the remnants of oppression and building a more just and equitable society for all.
Commit your way to the Lord, trust also in Him, and he shall bring it to pass. Psalm 37 verse 5. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4 verse 13.